Alrighty, so today I'm going to be looking at a very, very interesting product in a very, very interesting niche. Now, there are some very controversial or potentially controversial things about this product. And I think for beginners to Amazon FBA or people that are doing D2C or drop shipping, anybody that's looking to either get into e-commerce or is already in e-commerce, there's so much to learn from brands like this. And I think it's a very, very interesting case study to look at. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the product. So the product is this. The brand name is True Height Growth, right? So basically, this is a brand that makes supplements, products, protein powders, that type of stuff to help teenagers grow. So this brand is actually, in my opinion, aimed at the parents of teenagers, right? It's not actually aimed at teenagers and kids. These guys are marketing towards parents who want their kids to be big and be strong and play football and all that type of stuff. So let's have a quick look, right? So on Amazon, these guys are doing over $1 million a month. So this is one of their main products, right? Which is a True Height Gummy, which is a natural height growth supplement for kids and teens. So it's pediatric recommended height maximizer with ashwagandha and calcium, blah, 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 blah. So you can see this one is doing $500,000 a month. And if we actually take a look at the shop, so if you click on this little button down here, you can go to this little page here and it will show all of these products, right? So these guys are doing, from what I can see, about $1 million a month just on Amazon, right? And I know that they are running also a lot of Facebook ads. So if you come to the Facebook ad library, which is one of my favorite things to do when I'm breaking down brands, you can see all of the adverts that they're running. They've got 780 results. If we filter by active, what we're going to see is how many ads. They've got 670 ads running right at the minute. So they're running a lot of Facebook ads. And if you take a look at the content, it seems like it's aimed at kids. So I would imagine that they're marketing this towards kids, but also at the same time towards parents, right? Because I think they want their parents, they want the kids to go to the parents and say, Mom, I need these supplements so I can get bigger. Now, they're doing $1 million a month on Amazon. I assume if they're spending this much on Meta and they're doing this many ads, they're also probably doing at least $1 million D2C through their website. So you come to their website and you can see, right, that they've got 11,000 plus raving reviews that they don't actually link to. And their tagline is grow taller and reach higher with this little asterisk here. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, right, you will see that this asterisk is attached to this statement. Individual results may vary. Factors such as age, genetics, and lifestyle play a role in achieving desired outcomes. So these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. So that's the FDA. So this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So they've got this statement in here because they are not an FDA approved drug. I don't actually know what you need to do to be an FDA approved drug. I don't know whether that's a common thing for supplements. But what I do know is that there has been some controversy in the space, in the e-commerce space lately about supplements and how effective they are, and how heavily they've been marketed on things like TikTok. So if we take a look at this True Height, what you're going to see on here is tons and tons of people promoting these products. So these guys have got 142,000 followers on their TikTok account. They've got doctors giving videos. They've got teenagers talking about how they grew. And a bit of the controversy in this is like, how true are the statements from these people? Because if these people are being financially sort of incentivized, are they really telling the truth? That's what the question is, right? But for me, this is a very, very interesting case study for Amazon FBA because this is just a perfect example of taking a problem and giving people a very creative solution. So the problem is that parents want their kids to be strong, to be fit, to be healthy, to be good at sports. And a lot of the time, you can't really sort of decide how tall your kids are going to be, right? Like a lot of it is down to genetics. And an interesting thing that I found in the Facebook ad library is this video here, which is a clip from a podcast. Now I'm going to play it and you're going to see what I mean.
What percent do you think this is influenced by genetics? Eye color, 100%. 95%. Height, 100%.
85%?
80%.
How is height 80%? Is that also like your diet?
Of course. How well fed are you? How well rested are you?
I think sleep correlates with height actually quite significantly.
Almost definitely.
So are you saying I could theoretically be taller had I eaten
Slept
better
more.
and slept more?
There you go. They're using a clip from a podcast. This is a guy called Chris Williamson. He's got a huge podcast called Modern Wisdom. I don't actually think this is his podcast. I think it's the podcast of these two other dudes. But if you look at this is so interesting, right? Because this is planting the seed in people's heads, in parents' heads, that the height of you or your kids isn't dictated just by how tall you are. So if you've got like a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old that's about to kind of hit puberty and he's going to be growing, if you think, hang on a minute, if I can buy them these supplements, maybe they're going to make the basketball team and they're going to be popular, they're going to have a better life, right? Because everything is kind of centered around sport. Unlock your inner Olympian. Obviously, seems like it's targeting the actual kid and not the parents. But what they do really well, and what I think is a great lesson for this, is they educate first and then they offer the solution. So if parents or kids have got no idea that their height is something that they're kind of in some way in control of, they're never going to seek out a solution to getting taller, right? Like if you just think that I can't grow anymore because it's genetics, then you're never really going to take any supplements. Or if you think that I can't get better quality sleep, it just depends on, how comfortable my bed is, you're never going to look for these supplements. So this is what the whole supplement industry is kind of created around. It's educating people on what the problem is and then giving them a solution, right? So there's brands like Mighty Moo, Miracle Moo, sorry. These guys are actually part of a class, what do you call it? A class lawsuit, a class, can't remember their name. Let's have a look. Class action lawsuit, that's the one. So these guys are actually involved right now in a class action lawsuit, which is basically saying that the claims that these guys are making with this colostrum supplement stuff, they're not actually true. So they claim that it helps you grow your hair, all of this gut health, all these claims, right? And people buy them under the pretense that they're going to help with all these things, right? And I don't think there's actually any sort of scientific proof behind the claims that they make. So whether or not you agree with it on a moral level, right, this is an absolute masterclass in branding and marketing. And these guys are absolutely crushing it. Now, you might be watching this as a beginner or whatever level you're on with e-commerce, but I think there's so much that you can learn because honestly, finding products like this is not difficult. Like if you spend a little bit of time, you will be able to find a manufacturer in the US or probably China, because I think these are actually made in China. Because one very interesting thing that they say is True Height is made in a USA GMP certified facility with global ingredients under strict regulatory standards. What this means in plain English is this is made in China, but the actual facility that makes them has been approved by a USA based company. So that's how they get around these things being made in China, which honestly, like, there's a lot of stigma around making these sorts of products in China because people think the quality from China is not as good. And I don't think that's always the case. Like China is it's the number one country in the world for exports, right? China is just an absolute behemoth in terms of manufacturing things, right? It's the number one country in the world for manufacturing. So you can get top quality products in China. You can get terrible quality products. You can get top quality products. But I assume, right, that if most of these parents that knew that these were made in China, they probably wouldn't be as keen giving them to their kids. But they really probably don't know about that. But you can easily find a manufacturer in China or in the USA for products like this, right? And the margin that these guys will have on this product is ridiculous because these are $40 for 60 gummies. Now, I imagine they are probably making these for probably $3 or $4. So they add the branding, they get it shipped. The bottle is tiny, so the manufacturing and the shipping cost of these is going to be unbelievably cheap. So the margin that they're going to be making on these is incredible. The other thing that's incredible about a product like this is it's a subscription-based product. Now, we are selling subscription-based products with our Amazon brand right now. And it's incredible, right? Because every single time you make a sale, probably 20, 30% of those people are actually subscribing to the product. And that means that they buy that product either on a monthly basis, a bi-monthly basis, whatever it is. But recurring revenue is incredibly important with Amazon FBA and e-commerce in general. So if you're a beginner, I think there's so much you can learn from this. And I'm not saying go out and sell supplements, but these guys have almost made their own category, right? Because if you search, you'll see that people are searching and searching on Amazon for their brand, right? So you can see 4,800 people a month are coming directly to Amazon to search for their brand. Now, this is because they do all the TikTok marketing, they do all of the meta advertising. Now, if you go and watch some of my other videos, you're going to see me talk about what I think is the future of Amazon FBA, where I don't think if you want to absolutely crush Amazon anymore, you can just be an Amazon brand. Because if you're just on Amazon, you're not really a brand, in my opinion. So these guys are a great example of, in my opinion, what is the best way to do this is you create a product, you create a brand, you have it on Amazon, and you do Amazon really, really well, but you also do meta advertising, you do TikTok advertising, you do influencer marketing. All of this stuff combined gives you an incredible brand, and it gives you a moat. And this is where you make the real money. And it might seem a little bit scary at first. How do you do all of this stuff? But honestly, it's just pretty simple. Like, we are getting to the point with our brand where we're starting to do this sort of stuff, and it's really fun. It's great, and it's very, very effective. So if you are interested in learning more about Amazon FBA and all that stuff, check the link in the description, right? Because we've got our own Amazon FBA community where we help people launch and grow Amazon brands. But yeah, I thought this was super, super interesting. One of the other interesting points that I wanted to mention is the actual ingredients in these, right? It's ashwagandha, spirulina. You know, it's pretty standard stuff in terms of supplements, right? It's just branded for kids. Like, these ingredients are probably used in tons of other supplements, right? But this has just been branded towards kids. So there's probably adults taking similar stuff. It's probably good for your body. I don't really know. Like, what I don't like about these gummies is this: they have glucose syrup, sugar, glycerin, don't even know what that is, sodium citrate, watermelon flavor, vegetable oils. It's kind of packed with some questionable stuff, because how else do you get this delicious looking and tasting gummy, right? Like, in reality, it's better to just take this powder in a little capsule, but especially kids, they don't want to do that. And the gummies have just become more and more popular over the past few years, right? As it's kind of come into the mainstream. Gummy vitamins, gummy creatine, all of this type of stuff, right, is just becoming more and more popular. Let's have a look. Melatonin gummies, 146,000 people searching for that. Now, look, you can see it's grown over the years, right? So gummies are just becoming more and more popular. Creatine gummies, I've talked about that on the channel. These sorts of products, look, this came out of nowhere. This was not a thing back in 2019, 2020. It's only really in the past couple of years that these types of products have really taken off. So let me know what you think in the comments, right? I love doing these sorts of case studies. I think everybody can learn from these products and these brands. These are the sorts of products that I believe, if you really want to make a lot of money on Amazon FBA or on Amazon, whatever, if you want to make a lot of money in e-commerce, you have to build a subscription-based brand. You have to do it with stuff like this. And I think there's so much opportunity out there now with stuff like this. That's why I'm paying very close attention to what these brands are doing. I'm trying to reverse engineer their success, and I am trying to replicate so I can make a ton of money and buy myself a yacht. All right, so go and watch this video that I did recently where I talked about how to make FU money with Amazon FBA, because I talk about a lot of this stuff in here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.